So first let's discuss linguistics a little bit. In martial arts, especially in the United States, we've kind of become this melting pot of martial arts. The greatest example of this would be XMA, MMA, those types of martial arts that take little pieces of various systems from different countries and kind of throw it all together into a universal mixed martial arts system. And there's nothing wrong with that, but we're studying classical Taekwondo. So as an example, if one of my students yells, "Sensei, pardon," I'm going to stop what I'm doing. I'm going to go over and help them and immediately respond to that because I'm used to that title, "Sensei, pardon." But in Taekwondo, that would be an inappropriate term. I would be called Sabum or Sabum Nim Pardon, Kwang San Nim Pardon. So it gets more complicated. But if I were teaching Chinese martial arts, that would be Sifu Pardon. So Sensei, teacher, Sabum, teacher, Sifu, teacher, Sensei, Japanese, Sabum, Korean, Sifu, Chinese. So you can see it can kind of get a little bit confusing. We're going to start with our counting numbers and kind of get into just some of the traditional terms of Taekwondo. All right, so we're going to talk about Korean counting numbers. You would think that that would be fairly simple since we're just going to learn 1 through 10, counting numbers 1 through 10. Hana, tol, set, net, daset, yaset, ilgot, yudot, ehap, yol. Sounds easy. But if you were to Google this and to look up Korean counting numbers, you would pretty soon find out that there's actually two variations of this. We use the older counting number system, which was something that was more common among native-speaking Koreans. My teacher was Jun Ri, the Grand Master and the father of Taekwondo in the United States. And so the counting number system that Master Ri used was this native system. So if you look, I've taken the time to write it out on the board. We have Hana, which is number 1, Tol, number 2, Set, number 3, Net, number 4, Doset, number 5, Yaset, number 6, Ilgup, number 7, Yuda, number 8, Eha, number 9, and number 10, Y'all, okay? So for my folks that are from the Tennessee dojo and the Virginia dojo, Y'all should be fairly easy. So those Korean counting numbers are classically what we would go by. I've been to some Korean dojos where I see them teaching Taekwondo, and I hear the instructor, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Well, that's Japanese 1 through 10. You know, that would be inappropriate in a Korean dojo. We want to make sure that we try to keep things historically accurate. So that's the Korean counting number system. If you look it up, you'll find out that there are two different systems. This is the version or the variant that we use, which was more common among the Korean native-speaking peoples. So in this section, we're going to talk about the definition of the style that you're studying, Taekwondo. If you look, we have Taekwondo written on the board, and then a precursor variant of this martial system was called Tang Soo Do. Taekwondo, Tae is this concept of the hand. Kwon, foot, Do, pathway or method. So hand-foot method, the way of the hand and fist. So different variations on this. Let me put this knife down. Sorry, I was tinkering in between sets. So this variant that you see in both of these is this term Do. Do or Dao or Tao relate to a Chinese idea of the path or the way. It's a place that, or a art that helps people to develop themselves both physically, spiritually, and mentally. So Taekwondo, the way of the hand and fist. This other term, Tang Soo Do, you may see in some styles, and you may look at Tang Soo Do. It's the style and system that Chuck Norris trained in. That was also very similar to Taekwondo, Korean martial art. Tang was a reference to the Tang dynasty in China. And Su is the idea of hand, Su, like we do Sudo, Sudomaki, which we'll see coming up. And then Do, again, the idea of pathway or school. So these are two terms that are kind of intermixed back and forth. They are two distinct systems, but they're extremely close first cousins. They look very similar when you look at these two martial systems from Korea, Tang Soo Do, Taekwondo. Our focus will be on, of course, Taekwondo. Okay, so previously we discussed these three terms, sabum, sensei, and sifu. And we identified that sensei is a Japanese term, sabum a Korean term, and sifu a Chinese term. All of these terms are references to a teacher. In Korean, we have an honorific that we add at the end of it, nim. So sabum nim is a direct reference to the teacher. That individual is actually teaching the class. The senior person in the class would be the sabum nim, or the teacher of that specific Dojang. If we look at this term, busabum, and then add nim, that would be who is the second or the assistant instructor in a Taekwondo class. And sometimes you will hear people refer to as busabum nim, sabum nim, kwangjang nim, lots of different terms that you'll actually hear. For my basic students, some other terms that you'll hear thrown around quite a bit are a classic term you'll hear is called chagi, and sometimes you'll hear this idea of wongjuk up chagi or rongjuk up chagi, and what they're talking about are kicks. Chagi means to kick, so if I say up chagi, AP, then that's a snap kick. If I say yup chagi, that would be side kick. If I say tolyo chagi, then I'm talking roundhouse kick. If I were to use these terms, oronjuk tolyo chagi, I'm talking about utilizing right-legged roundhouse kick. If I say wongjuk tolyo chagi, then I'm talking about a left roundhouse kick. So left, right, chagi, kick, and then up, yap, tolyo, snap, side, round. The three classic kicks of Taekwondo. Finally, another term that you're going to hear quite often in the dojo is this term maki. Maki in Korean is this idea of block, of to block. We have movements chiko maki, rising block, sudo maki, hand block, yap maki, side hand block. So maki is the idea of block, and depending upon which movement you're doing, each will have an individualized different name. So that finishes our introductory lesson on the idea of terminology and general knowledge for the Taekwondo Dojang. One of the terms that we will throw around quite often in the Dojang is kamsahamnida. You'll normally hear kamsahamnida at the end of most training classes. It essentially just is this idea of a Korean thank you very much. And so if you're watching, and those of you who have subscribed and liked Dane Harden Martial Arts on YouTube, thank you so very much. Kamsahamnida. I'll see you guys back for lesson number 3 in this Taekwondo series.